And I'm a person like that as well. I'm a person of numbers. Talk to me in real terms. And so if we say that we tired of our BLK getting unalived by the YT cops, we just have to also understand that there is a lot of cops, period. As I just explained to y'all, Tyree Nichols case, which is a hot thing right now in the news media. If you have not heard of it, it was 3 years ago. I mean, 2 years ago, I'm sorry, when it happened. But it's just now really boiling out to some findings of what happened and how those officers were charged. They were not YT. So my premise of what's happening here is it is the power of the badge against mankind.
For sure.
I am not a person that sees color. I understand the oppression that my people, BLK people, have gone through. And I think the YT people, if they are honest about it, they really recognize that there are some big challenges that we are faced with as it relates to race against race. And we're not going to pretend. We're not going to pretend like a BLK individual is always safe or can rest assured that they're going to be safe in the hands of a badge. We're not going to pretend like that. But what we are going to do is make sure that we stay on the real scope of things, because that's just not the big issue. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood, y'all. I ain't going to take up too much time. I want to welcome Devon. Devon, how you feeling today, man? Good morning to you.
I'm feeling good. So let me tell me, because I'm not tracking, right? Like, because I'm having a hard time. Because when we're talking about the subjective nature of this man's thought process,
Give me
that's
one
not
second,
evidence.
Devon. I think you just got up here, so I just want to check in with you like I do everybody else. Give you the proper greeting,
Oh,
my boy. What
oh,
state
my
you
fault, my
checking in
fault.
from? No, you good.
Oh, I'm Delaware. I'm from
Delaware
Delaware.
is in the building, y'all. Put in the chat what state you in. We want to hear where you coming from. Delaware is in this building now. Devon, are you familiar with TikTok panels as well as friendly
Oh,
TikTok
absolutely,
conversation? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, cool. Do you welcome in great, healthy debate with other adults to be able to talk amongst world
A-
issues that can help people walk a little well
Absolutely,
informed? I like that about you,
absolutely.
brother. All right, so the topic is right now, many would say Rodney made a statement. That's the man in the orange here. Do
Uh-huh.
you believe that he made a statement? And if so, can you tell us any other commentary that you would like? I'll give you
Okay.
a timer so you can cook in that time frame.
I only need like 30 seconds. Yeah,
No,
I
you good.
think
Take your time.
I don't know. I don't know that he was necessarily making a statement. I think that the man was distraught. Like I raised 7 kids, right? And I'm on my seventh right now, right? He's 10 years old. Everybody else is 26 and older, pretty much gone from the house, living in their own success. But like I don't know what I would be thinking if that happened to my child. And we don't know what he saw in that video, what triggered him. So I'm not going to necessarily attribute it to race, right? But I would attribute it to the fact that any father can relate to losing a child, right? And I don't know that your mental capacity would be able to like and you just got to think about what he was thinking. You know what I'm saying? So even though I believe, like you said, there's systemic problems with police departments, all institutions in the United States are problematic, right? And they're even more problematic when it comes to historically marginalized groups, right? So so to suggest that that's not a thing is just it's nonsensical. Like I wouldn't even entertain that conversation. But at the end of the day, I think I don't know what the message. I think the message is going to be different for every person that receives it. Like I believe every white T person that looks at this is going to see the message differently than most BK people. You know what I'm saying? And then you have older and younger. You have professional, non-professional. So I think depending on your perspective or your lived experience is going to drive your thought process about what you think the message was and what he did. But I don't think he was trying to send a message. I think he was, I mean, the man was, he was upset. Like his son was lost. He saw the video and obviously he didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got a question for you though, Devon. What if because I hear your message. What if though, because this could be a potential theory. What if my boy was so hurt by the loss of his son that he wasn't trying to unalive anybody but himself? What if my boy was not even able to see that individual was dressed like a cop? What if his gear, that man was a retired cop working a special graduation? What if that individual was dressed as a crossing guard and not as a cop, as though they already are dressed, armed with a belt and all of those other things, clear badge and all of that? What if he wasn't dressed that way? Would we say then that it was like he was trying to get back and that was his actual intention?
That's a good point. We probably wouldn't, right? I don't know. I think yeah, yes. The answer to that question is I don't think that we would see it that way, but I think that going back to Miss Kiki and what Jack was debating about, like when you think about a contingent, then what happened afterwards when he was in court demonstrated that he was standing on business about something. You know what I'm saying? So I think in isolation, the event is one thing. But then what happened afterwards, I think, and what happened before, I think that somebody you could assume we could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But yes, if he would have just if it would have been somebody else, we probably would be thinking about this differently. And that goes into the point that I wanted to make with Jack, because yes, I believe that the man was in the box or the whatever they call it, sitting in the car. But when he backed up and got in a safe distance, what we've seen is that doesn't stop. That aggression on the part of the officer does not stop. So yes, you're getting out of harm's way, but why didn't he jump out the car once he got out of harm's way and started doing what they ordinarily would do with any other suspect or any person that they encounter? So it goes the same for that other situation. Like you got to think about the continuum. I think that man, he was targeting somebody in the uniform because the way that he behaved when he went to court. And I'm not judging the man for doing what he did. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry that somebody lost their life. I don't know what I would do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna cap. I really don't know what I would do in that situation.
I felt you on that. I felt you on that. Thank you so much, Jordan. Good morning, man.
Hey, boss.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, go ahead.
Hopefully you've been in the room for a little bit, big dog. But I want to welcome you to the panel. Where are you checking in from? What state?
I'm from Memphis, man.
Memphis. Memphis is in the house. No, it's good over here. Memphis is in the house. I like Memphis. Hey man. You've been on TikTok panels before. You know how to do TikTok friendly language.
Oh, yes.
That sounds good to me. Hey, do you also welcome adult-like conversation where we can have dialogue amongst each other to share our knowledge?
100%, yes.
I appreciate that too. Hey man, many say Rodney made a statement. You've been hearing the statements that people have been talking about. I see you in the room.
Right.
Tell me, how you feel about it, man?
A lot. I agree a lot with Devon said. Me personally, it was out of anger. That's how I feel. I 100% feel it was out of anger, of course. It's a lot of what if questions. Like we don't wake up every day and we're in a situation. We wasn't in his situation. He just lost his son. He lost his kid. As a father, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like anybody would want revenge for that person because you just lost your life. That's a life that was lost. Do I agree with what he did? No. We're looking more of like, okay, a BLK person was taken away. Of course, it's uproar now. We're all mad. Okay, this has to stop. Blah 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 blah. But it's the internet. It's the media. They're only gonna it's people feed on certain things and they only make it one subject, but we don't talk about the whole thing. Another life was took also of somebody else innocent. But then you ask yourself, what is innocent? we truly won't know for real. It's so common that you will see a BLK person that's, you know what I'm saying, unalive by somebody else that's not that same race, whatever. But also, that's not the only race that's being taken out as well. People don't realize that. but it's only shown so much because I feel like that's like a thing that wants to be shown. Me personally, no, he wasn't trying to make a statement. When he was in the court, of course, he held his head up, but it was out of anger. He was surrounded by people. What would you do? We can't put ourselves in his foot or in his shoes because that's not a situation that's normal. I feel like the son was guilty. Why would you run? If you're scared, yeah, some people will have that little tactic of let me get out of here, let me do this, let me do that. But there was too much aggression on the bad side because it was a BOK young person. I can't tell you what was going through their mind of like where they're scared or blah, blah, blah.